Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to tonight's 30-minute practice. I'm really happy that you're here. Today's flow is structured to be, there is a theme as of late. The theme is maybe you don't want to move that much, but you know movement is good for you and feels good. So maybe try this. So I was thinking this is the time of year a lot of us, at least in the States, are traveling to be with family around the Thanksgiving holiday. So maybe you've been doing a lot of sitting in a car, or maybe you recently took like an airplane somewhere and your body's feeling a little cooped up, or maybe you're lucky enough to have some time away from work and you've been just like chilling on the couch, not moving much. So this is just a quick 30 minutes that I hope helps you feel a little refreshed and recentered and just a little bit more limber kind of all throughout the body. You don't need any props for class. You'll notice that I always practice with, you can't see them. There they are, 2 blocks. I love to use blocks doing kneeling lunges, doing forward folds, doing all sorts of things where the ground sometimes feels really far away. So if you have yoga blocks, grab them, but if not, you'll still be totally fine throughout class. If you like to follow along to a playlist, there's one linked below. I'm going to press play on mine right now. We don't need to be synced up. It's just kind of like a vibe to guide you through. And we're going to get started laying down on your back. I'll offer reclined bound angle pose if you're looking for a little bit of hip opening. Lots of other options if this doesn't feel best to you. So for reclined bound angle, you'll lay down on your back and touch the bottoms of your feet together, letting your knees fall open wide. And if this is a really intense feeling, you can move your feet further away from your body. If this just is not working, you might go full starfish in corpse pose, or for more support in the low back, bring your feet to the outside of your mat and knock your knees together. Lots of options. Start to let your body settle here. You can close your eyes if that feels okay, or just soften your gaze. Enjoy a couple just sighs out your mouth. Let yourself enjoy the feeling of having stopped and of having nothing to do but be here just for 30 minutes. And as you let your breath return to normal, just observe the way it's moving in, around, and out your body without trying to change anything. Notice what parts of your body are making contact with the ground beneath you. And see if you might heavy your body into those points of support as you settle into your space. It's okay to acknowledge that maybe your mind is busy. Maybe it's thinking of all the things you'll do after this, or things still left done from before. I know this is easier to say than to do, but see if you might really anchor yourself in this moment by paying attention to sensations in your body, or by noticing your breath. As many times as you need to bring yourself back into this present moment, those can be 2 really helpful anchors. Take one more big breath in through your nose and let it go out your mouth. Keeping your legs as they are, or adjusting if you need to find a different shape with the legs. We'll do some opening through the chest here. These are snow angels. So rest the backs of your hands on the ground. As you inhale, find a really long wingspan. Reach your arms overhead. Backs of your hands are still on the ground. And as you exhale, bend your elbows like goalposts and drag your elbows down to your hips. Your hands might pop off the ground, and that's fine, but feel that width across the front of your chest. 3 more like that. Breathing in, finding length through the fingertips. And big, slow exhale, finding openness across your heart, across the front of your shoulders. Enjoy 2 more of these on your own, letting your breath be big and full. Awesome job. When you're all done, hug your knees up into your chest. Rock side to side, feeling into the low back, maybe feeling into the outer hips. Maybe you draw circles with the knee, first in one direction, and then reverse the direction of the circles. Good. And just because it's fun, find a happy baby pose, like sending your feet towards the sky, maybe grab the backs of your knees. Maybe you're able to reach closer to your feet, but it's okay. We're just warming up. There's no need to strive for anything. Just maybe take some time to observe how your hips feel, how the backs of your legs are doing. You can even draw circles with your ankles, getting out any little cricks and cracks. And when you are all done, bring your feet back down onto the mat, setting up for some bridge pose. Bring your heels as close to your glutes as is comfortable. Knees are going straight up towards the sky. Rest your palms, your hands, palms down on the mat. As you inhale, lift your hips up, hold and breathe. Maybe you wiggle your shoulder blades together underneath you to boost your heart up. But as you hold and breathe here, notice if your rib cage is really splayed out because you're working to really send things to the sky. Hug your ribs in, feel that kind of corseting feeling across the front of your core. Hug your belly button up and in. Sense your outer hips and your glutes. See if you might power them on. And then push both feet down into the ground so you're redistributing the weight throughout all of both of your legs. So it's not just the tops of the legs working, not just the glutes, not just the hamstrings. You've got a little bit of everything. You've got the core turned on. Take a big breath in here. Option to reach your fingertips back behind you. And as you exhale, slowly lower back down to earth. And we will do this 5 times now, moving with the breath. So inhale, lift your hips, activate your legs, activate your core, option to reach the arms back, and exhale, lower down with control. That's 1. Inhale. And exhale, breathing as fully and as unhurriedly as you can muster. Nice job. We've got 2 more. Breathing in, lift the hips. Glutes might be really stinging right now. Mine definitely are. And last one here, breathing in. And breathing out. Awesome job. Hug your knees back into your chest again. Just a little reset. And we're going to meet on all 4s in a tabletop position. If you like to rock and roll the length of your spine, you can play with that a couple times. Otherwise, just gently press yourself up and we'll meet together on all 4s in 4, in 3, in 2, and 1. What if I did a 30-minute class that was just the rock and roll? It would be fun. All right. On all 4s here, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Spread your fingertips wide on the mat as you inhale, lift your tailbone, carve a line up the wall in front of you with your chin. This is cow pose. And as you exhale, hug your belly button to your spine, round and curl, sending your heart through your upper back. Play with these 2 movements on your own, linking your inhales and exhales to the movement. And feel free to experiment with any other movements that feel organic or necessary while you're here. Maybe there's a little swivel of the hips, maybe some movement with the neck. You've got about 5 more rounds just to experiment and explore. Open and close the jaw, finding that silent scream through the face if it feels good. Good. Now meet in stillness on all fours. We'll introduce some hip hinges. So you might try finding more of a child's pose stance with the feet where your toes are closer together and your knees are wider. See what feels good to you. If your wrists are sensitive, come up onto your fists here. So I just need a little bit of a break. And then you're going to hinge your hips back towards the right ankle. You might feel a little stretch through the left hip. Come back up to center and then send the hips to the left and back towards the left ankle. Keep hinging like this. It kind of feels to me like I'm drawing parentheses, like first one way and then the other way. And maybe the parentheses feel good to you. Maybe you want to draw more complete circles, going like all the way around in one direction a few times. And if you're doing that, go ahead and switch directions now. Do one more set on each side. Awesome job. When you're all done, we'll meet at the center. This is our last exercise on our knees, so we'll get a break here soon. These are bird dogs or balancing table. These are really great for both your lower back and your core. Fun fact, your lower back is part of your core. Send your right fingertips straight forward. Send your left toes back, still resting on the mat. Lift your left leg up any amount, but if you can, in line with the rest of your body. And as you inhale one more time here, think about lengthening your arm and your leg apart from each other. And as you exhale, without moving the rest of your body, can you bring your elbow and your knee to touch underneath you? Inhale, lengthen with control. Exhale, crunch and contract. Keep the back of your neck long. 3 more here, breathe in. And breathe out. 2 more, inhale. And exhale, here we go. Last one, you got it, breathe in. And breathe out, crunch, and then release. We'll do this on the other side. Left fingertips go forward, right toes go back. Lengthen the back of your neck, hug your belly button up and in, then lift the right leg. Inhale to lengthen arm and leg here. Exhale, elbow to knee underneath you, moving with control on this side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow towards the knee. We've got 3 more here. Move slowly like you're moving through honey. And see if you might let your movement last just as long as the breath, or the breath might last like a beat longer than the movement. Last one. Good, awesome job. Find child's pose. Toes touch, knees open wide. Crawl your fingertips forward. Forehead rests on the mat. Take a couple big, slow breaths here. And when you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. In down dog, you might enjoy pedaling out your legs, stretching into your Achilles, the bottoms of your feet, your calves, your hamstrings. Keep your foundation stable by spreading your fingertips wide and rotating them slightly out so your index fingers point straight forward. Grip at the mat with your finger pads and the big knuckles that connect your fingers to your hands, to your palm. And then push the mat away from you, finding length through your spine. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Inhale here. Exhale, step your right foot forward into a low lunge. It's okay to take many little steps to get you there. Drop the left knee down. Option to keep your toes tucked behind you or untucked, whatever feels better. If you've got the blocks, this is where I always like to use them. Start to find some movement between an inhale in this lunge and an exhale where you straighten the right leg any amount and sink your hips back. This is half split. Might feel really juicy and good through the hamstring, the low back. But start to rock between the two, taking it nice and easy. I'm doing this on purpose before you're super warmed up. So this isn't about how deep of a lunge you can get going forward. It's just about introducing a little bit of dynamic movement to kind of like oil up the hip joint a little bit. Good, couple more. These are something that if this feels good to you, you can do this like in the middle of your workday. It doesn't have to be as part of a like yoga time that you're doing. If you have like even just a blanket you could roll out or a carpeted room at the office you can go into, you can just do a couple of these, ease out some tightness. Good, next time you're in the lunge forward, stack your knee right over your ankle. So maybe stand up a little bit more so you're not super dumped down. Bring your left hand onto the floor or onto the block. And as you inhale, just reach the right arm up high. A nice little twist here. Find any movement with the right arm that feels good. Experiment with the placement of your back hip that feels right. Maybe it does feel good to dip a little lower. Keep it up high. One more breath in. As you exhale, both hands come back to the ground. Lift your back knee up off the earth and then step backwards to downward facing dog. We'll do that again on the other side. Big inhale. As you exhale, step the left foot forward this time, finding your kneeling lunge. And same thing on this side. We're just moving between this lunge forward and popping up the left toes in half splits. Ooh. If this is your tighter side, as it is for me, this might feel a little more intense, but that's what the breath is for. Stay attuned to the needs of your bodies. There's a chance that it won't feel as good to go quite as far in either of these movements. So dial back as needed. Keep breathing here, nice and easy. If it feels good to stay in one of these shapes a little longer, stay and breathe. Got about 3 more rounds of movement to play with. The next time you're in your lunge, stack your knee right over your ankle. Don't go quite as far. Right hand or maybe right fist or hand on the block in the middle of your mat. As you inhale, open the left arm high, twist. Think about lengthening both arms. Experiment with any movement through the left arm that feels good. Moving the left wrist in circles. Breathe in. Breathe out, both hands back to the ground. Lift your back knee up and step your way back to downward facing dog. Good, big breath in here. As you exhale, walk your hands back towards your feet, walking your hands back towards your feet, finding ragdoll pose. So feet as wide as the width of your mat, maybe wider. Let your head relax down. So many options here. If you're looking for a little bit of aid in digestion, and you've been really enjoying some food, I hope you have. Twists are really good for stimulating the digestive system because you're restricting blood flow and then re-releasing it. So it can help kind of just like move some stuckness along. So maybe you're bringing one hand to the ground or a block, reaching the other high. Or if you're feeling a little crunched through your chest and shoulders, grab for a chest expansion. Interlacing your hands at your low back. And then lifting your fists up to the sky. Finding that breadth across the front of your shoulders. Couple more breaths here. Good. We're going to start to move towards standing. So even out your sides if you're doing a twist. Start to bring your fingertips back towards the ground. Bend your knees generously. Bring yourself up to stand in a way that feels supportive to you. So take your time. So you're going to feel a little dizzy. And then once you're standing, just kind of shake it out for a minute. We're gonna do a little bit of a set, getting into some warrior two, just like a little more for the hips. It's always just nice to like flipper the feet a little. All right, so stand facing one of the long edges of your mat. Wide stance, and find warrior two bending into your right knee. So right toes point towards the short edge of your mat. Back foot, we've got back pinky edge parallel-ish to the back of the mat. Maybe a heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Maybe you take a couple like little pumps into the knee. This is the first time the hips have been in this configuration during practice. So maybe you're still feeling a little sticky, like you're still warming up. Send your arms out long and strong at your sides. Gaze over your front fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, extended side angle. Rest your right arm on your thigh and swoop the left arm up. And from here today, there's so many different things we could focus on in extended side angle. Today, I want you to focus on finding length through this top hip and openness through the chest. So if you gently squeeze your left glute and then reach your left fingertips overhead, you can feel some length growing along the outside or even the front of the left hip. And then gently rotate your chest up towards the ceiling as much as feels good. You might even gaze down at your foot for more support for the neck. Good. Inhale, reverse triangle. Straighten your front leg. Reach the right arm up and over, finding a stretch through the right side this time. Left hand can fall down your back leg, maybe rests on your hip for support. We're going to find a little bit of a flow now between extended side angle and this reverse triangle, just to get like, movement, yes, but also some really nice side bending and hip opening in a new way. So inhale here. As you exhale, bend into the right knee, extended side angle, reaching the left arm overhead. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten the front leg, reaching up. And exhale, extended side angle. Let's do this 2 more times through. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, extended side angle. Awesome. 1 more time through. Inhale. And exhale. Nice job. Inhale, star pose, toes out, heels in, raise your arms up high. You can wiggle your hips side to side. Exhale, goddess, palms come to heart center, sink your hips down low. We'll do a little bit more twisting here. Bring your hands onto your thighs, fingertips towards the ground. Lean forward, kind of like you're like a coach, really watching the player. Take a breath in, lift your heart up. As you exhale, drop your left shoulder, gaze over the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, drop the right shoulder. 1 more time like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, just wringing out the spine. Inhale back to center, palms at your heart. Stay for your exhale, strong legs, strong breath. Inhale, star pose, come up. Exhale, warrior two into the left foot. So we'll do that whole thing again on this other side. So bending confidently into the left leg this time. Right leg is straight behind you. Adjust as you need to. Maybe take a couple bends into this left knee. Awesome. Once you feel like you've built a strong foundation through your legs, both legs are working, core is hugging up and in, send your fingertips long at your sides. Inhale here. Exhale, extended side angle, rest the right arm on the thigh, windmill the, right arm high, left arm is on the rights and lefts. I try my best. While you're kind of settling into the shape here before we start to flow, see what it feels like to find that length along the right hip. You might find that shortening your stance helps. Engage the right glute, reach the right arm overhead, big side stretch. Maybe you feel that in the front hip, maybe not. Inhale. And stay for your exhale. Moving to reverse triangle. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Reach the left arm straight up, maybe a little bit to the side. Whatever feels good. We're finding length through the side body. And exhale back to extended side angle, finding length through the right side. Inhale, straighten the front leg, reverse triangle. Exhale, extended side angle. 2 more times through. Inhale. And exhale. Last one here, breathing in. And breathing out. Good. Inhale, star. Both toes out, heels in, arms up high. And this time as you exhale, we'll find a wide leg forward fold. So toes go in, heels out, hinge at the hip. Bringing your fingertips down to the earth, or again, if they're nearby, grabbing for your blocks. You might take more twists here if that's really what you feel like you need. You've also got the chest expansion. Maybe you're taking like little lateral lunges if getting a little more deep into the hip and the inner thigh feels good. You can just rest in stillness, making the back of your neck long and relaxed. Three more breaths. We're going to make our way down onto the ground from this position. So maybe we'll do whatever feels right to you. You might wiggle your feet closer together and then bend your knees and kind of let yourself down. When you're seated, send your right leg long and tuck your left foot in against the inner right thigh. Flex your right toes back towards your face so the foot is active. Inhale, lengthen through your sides, reach your arms up. Exhale, pivot your chest to face your right leg and then hinge at your hips, big forward fold. You might feel this again, kind of through the lower back, outer hip. Or maybe it feels like more of a side bend if your chest isn't quite square to your foot. Both of those are great options, whatever kind of feels better to you in this stretch. Gently come back up to center. Bring your left hand onto the ground behind you, setting up for stargazer. As you inhale, lift onto your left shin and your right foot, reaching your right arm back. Think about length from your right toe all the way out through your right fingertips. One more breath in. And as you exhale, come down to earth. Other side. Flex the left toes, inhale, arms high. Exhale, pivot and fold. Or if you're going for the side bend, you don't have to pivot to the chest, but bring your left hand kind of along the inside of your thigh, and you can use that both for support and to gauge how deep you'd like to go. Come back up to center. Right hand goes onto the earth behind you. Inhale, stargazer, finding length, finding lift, bringing an element of gracefulness to the shape, finding just a little bit more reach here. Breathe in. And as you exhale, come back down. Last seated pose, send both legs out long in front of you, neutralizing the hips. Flex your toes back towards your shins. Bend your knees as much as feels good. If your hamstrings are really tight, bend them more. Inhale. And exhale, drape your torso over your thighs. Option to even hug your knees. Rest your forehead down. Find what feels good to you here. And when you're ready, come back up to a tall seat. We're actually going to end today's practice seated with just a little bit of a calming breath practice that you can bring with you into family moments when you're feeling maybe a little overwhelmed, or if travel overwhelms you. This is something you can practice anytime. No one even has to know you're doing it. So I'm going to lean against a wall because it feels good. But you sit however feels best to you. And we're going to practice a little bit of square breath together. So I'll introduce the breath, but for now, just start to find a nice even inhale and exhale on your own, something that feels a little slower and more conscious than what normal breaths might feel like. You can close your eyes if that feels okay, or gaze softly downward. The square breath is a lot how it sounds. It's a 4-part breath of equal parts. So we'll inhale for the count of 3. Hold your inhale at the top for 3. Exhale completely for the count of 3. And then hold at the bottom of your inhale for 3. So inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And 2 things to focus on while you practice this are how fully you can inhale and exhale in the time allotted. And while you're holding both at the top and the bottom of the breath, see if you can consciously relax your body so that it doesn't make you feel more tense to not be breathing. So I'll count through a couple of rounds together and then give you a few moments of silence to practice on your own. Start with just a big breath in and a big breath out the mouth. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Keep going on your own, adjusting the count as you need, longer or shorter. Remember to fully inhale and exhale. And practice that softening of the body, that surrender physically as you're holding. This helps build resilience in stressful times when you teach your body that even though it's doing something slightly uncomfortable, like not breathing for a minute, you're training your nervous system to stay in a more parasympathetic, calm, protected sort of state. Couple of rounds in silence here. Take one more full round of square breath. So when you make it to the start again, do one more. And no rush, but when you're done, just let your breath return to normal and observe the effect of that breath. We'll close our practice with one big breath together. So sit up nice and tall. Inhale, option to sweep the arms up high, finding length. And exhale out your mouth, palms come to heart center. Lift your thumbs up to your third eye. May all beings everywhere be happy, healthy, safe, and free. Thank you for practicing together. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope that this little bit of movement and breath is helping you feel good. If this is something you just did alone, do it again with family members or friends that you're spending time with, see what they think. Thank you again for coming. There's no practice next week, the 29th, but we'll be back in December. So stay tuned. Okay, thank you again. Take good care. Bye.